The most difficult doctrine for me to accept when becoming Catholic was the Catholic Church's teaching on birth control, contraception, that whole thing. So growing up, I heard a lot of negative things about children. When I was a little girl, my dad, God bless him, love him dearly, told me that he never wanted to have kids. He told me that I should get my tubes tied. I didn't even know what sex was, and I'm hearing these words, tubes tied. I didn't even know what my tubes were at the time. These are the messages that I heard over and over as a child, and I internalized them. By the time I was a young adult, I said I didn't want to have children and I didn't want to be married. I saw a vision of marriage and children that was traumatizing, that was filled with anger, filled with resentment, and not living a Christ-like way. Flash forward to me becoming a Catholic. I was 20 years old and going through catechesis at a traditional Catholic parish. The people of the church took seriously the teachings of the Catholic Church. I saw lots of families with 10, 12, 13 kids, and that was not abnormal. But for me, it was scary. I still didn't want to have kids. I really didn't want to be married. I've always been a hopeless romantic, so of course I was dating boys at the time, but the thought of pushing out 10 babies, let alone one baby, scared the ever living daylights out of me. So I went through the catechesis to become Catholic. It wasn't until I had been Catholic for several years and I had eventually graduated college that I accepted a job at a pregnancy resource center. Half Catholics and half Protestants that ran the show. And so I was introduced to some very wonderful people working there. They talked about their values. They did not prescribe or refer out for contraception. In my introduction to working at this pregnancy resource center, I learned things that I had never known before, that the birth control pill does cause abortions, and that at the time when I was converting to the Catholic Church, I had just had my first kiss as a 20-year-old woman. And so I didn't even know anything about sex. I didn't understand it. I was very innocent. And innocence is a good thing, but I was also very naive and I was also very scared. And I had a lot of emotions that just were rooted in fear, rooted in childhood trauma, not what God wanted for me. And God bless the people at the Pregnancy Resource Center because they opened my eyes to the scientific truth that birth control pill and the IUD do cause abortions. The Lord opened my eyes to see. From that day on, I vowed to not support birth control ever again. I realized I couldn't be a cafeteria Catholic anymore. I had to be all in. Here are some Bible verses that are in scripture that point to the value of human life, and that's how God sees human life. I also encourage you to go read Theology of the Body by Pope St. John Paul II and read what the Catechism of the Catholic Church says about contraception. I'll put it here on the screen. This video was super vulnerable for me to make, guys, but the only way that I can get this message out of how Christ has changed my life is through being vulnerable. So if you guys want to hear more about my conversion and about how I changed my mind on contraception, definitely hit the follow and like button, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.